What's up guys, Tom here at Lacrosse Limited Huntington. Today we'll be stringing the Nike L3, one of the most popular and versatile heads in the game, used by one of the greats, Lyle Thompson. Let's get into it. Alright guys, today we're stringing the Nike L3 Chrome Lacrosse Limited Custom. We're going to be throwing Hero 3.0 semi-soft white, my personal favorite in. They really revolutionized and changed the mesh game. We still just got to stretch it out just a tad, and we're ready to throw it in the head. I like to roll it up, pull it apart, get it as nice stretched as possible. We're going to be starting the top string on the 9 diamond row. This is a 10 diamond. We're going to roll into the 9 diamond. We are going to start this stringing on the L3 on the first hole, the first sidewall hole. Go out through the outside of the head, in through the front of the mesh, back through the outside. We're going to double loop this. Really locks down the head, and I think it makes the head look nice and clean. Make sure we get it nice and tight. Back through the outside for the final loop. Today we're going to be doing a standard top string. We're going to be skipping the second scoop hole. We get it nice and tight, pull the mesh to the top of the scoop. We're going to put this sidewall through the back of the piece of mesh. And we're going to go up through the back of the scoop, down, and loop it around like we're creating a single. Then we're going to go back, hold this piece right here. We're going to go through the front of the head, down, right through that hole, nice and tight, back through that same diamond we started through. We're going to be skipping this hole, going through the 4th diamond, back of the scoop, pulling down, nice and tight. Hold that right there, pull your string through the head and back through the front of the head. You really want the head to get top string to be as tight as possible, because it's our foundation of the head, it's where we're starting. Makes your stick tight throughout the entire sidewalls and bottom string. Get to the middle of the head, skipping one more diamond, through the next one, back of the mesh, back of the scoop, pull down, pull that single nice and tight, hold that right there, through the head, back through the front of the scoop. We're going to go through the front of the mesh, back through that hole we came through. I like to keep pulling the mesh to the right side of the head so it doesn't get stuck over to the left, so we're symmetrical throughout the entire head. We're going to skip this hole, skip this diamond. We're on to our second to last. Through the mesh, through the back of the scoop, through the back of the head, back through the front of the scoop, pull down nice and tight, through that second to last hole. Now we're going to tie it off, going through that first sidewall hole. Take our sidewall through the back of the mesh, through the inside of the sidewall, back to loop around, get that double loop. Make sure we're pulling tight. Got our double loop completed. We're gonna finish with a double knot. Really lock that top string in. Me personally, after each string we complete, I like to cut and burn. You don't have to do that. A lot of guys save it all for last. So now we are on to our first sidewall. We're gonna go through the second hole outside of the plastic. We're gonna copy our top string with our double loop. Really locks it in, locks that mesh in. Makes the stick look really nice. So today we're gonna be throwing a nice simple pocket in here. Gonna be doing a mid pocket. Nice little channel, smooth release, good control. So we got our first sidewall hole locked in place. We're gonna skip 2. The reason we're skipping 2, we're gonna start down here with our anchor knot to really pull this mesh down and to create a channel. Personally, I'm a big fan of the channel. Gives the stick a lot smooth release and a lot of natural hold. So we go through to start the anchor knot, we go through the outside of the head, back through the front of the mesh, pull it nice and close, keeping this space open, take the top string, go down, pull that in, and then we yank it down, get it nice and tight, start forming that channel. Now we're gonna skip 1, same knot, outside of the head, through the front of the mesh, back through the hole, pull it down. There's a lot of different knots you could do to start. This is my personal favorite. I think it holds the mesh in to the plastic of the head the best. I'm gonna do one more anchor knot through the outside, back through the front of the mesh, back around, pull down nice and tight. So now we have our 3 anchor knots, and we're really starting to form that channel in the stick. Now we're gonna move on to some singles. We're gonna go through the front of the mesh, pull that down, through the outside of the sidewall, pull that right through. Nice and easy down. I'm gonna do another single, skipping no holes, just to stack this mesh up here a little bit. I'm gonna continue with this another single, front of the mesh. Continue with another single through the front of the mesh. Now we're gonna skip 1 hole, create that shift in that pocket, give it some slack for the ball to move around. Whether you're cradling 2-handed and you transition to 1-handed, that pocket's gonna shift with that ball. Now we're gonna lock off and finish the first sidewall. I like to go through the outside of the mesh, bring it down. We're gonna finish going through the last hole, the outside, pulling it through, going back through the inside of the head, and locking it off. Tie it off right here. Here we have our finished first sidewall. Now that we finished the first sidewall, we're going to repeat the exact pattern on this other side. now that we've completed both sidewalls, top string, it's time to work in that pocket. Even though we hate baseball over here at Lacrosse Limited, we gotta use that baseball bat. To work in that pocket, you wanna get all over the stick. Use some elbow grease. Get the corners. You really want to work that mesh in. Let that mesh bond with those sidewall strings and those knots so you can get it as broken in as possible. So after we finish breaking in the pocket, it's time to finish up with our bottom string and then throw some shooters in and we'll get ready to hit the field. I like to start in on the second hole in, loop it around to the first hole. We're gonna go on a 10 diamond row. I'm gonna skip first diamond, up through the second, to the front of the mesh, back through the back. I'm gonna repeat, weaving, bottom string in and out till we get to the other side. After we throw our bottom string in, time to finish up with some shooters. We have to make sure we can't go below 4 inches to comply with NCAA and high school rules. The shooter process, I like to go through the plastic, find an open sidewall hole, and then we weave through, going over the top and bottom throughout the diamonds. Up and over, switching which one goes up and over each time, across the face of the head. I like to knot sidewall at the end. I don't like to tie it like a shoelace, I like to knot it. Throw one more shooter in there, and we are good to go. You want to make sure your shooting string is equal length before weaving across the stick. So as we finish up this shooting string, we have the Nike L3 Chrome Hero 3.0 semi-soft white ready to go on the field. It can be purchased at any Lacrosse Limited nationwide and lacrosselimited.com. Always custom. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.